Okay, so have to replace the guide in here, and the reason I have to replace the guide was, here, let me grab the old, where's this, the old guide? No, it's the new guide. There you are. No, no, where'd you go? I see you. There you are. So there's the old guide. I had to replace it because when I put my pilot in to do the valve job, as you can see, it just bottoms out. Can't have that. So I had to take out the old guide. Now to take it out, we use a core, basically a reamer that basically fits down inside, and it centers itself on the diameter there, and it cuts the inside of the guide, basically cuts the whole cores out the inside. By doing that, this now kind of loses its press and collapses on itself. Then you'll take your little driver and literally hammer it out. Once that's hammered out, I'm going to take this guy and clean this up and basically create a little bit of a taper inside. The reason for that is so the guide doesn't generate press right at the top where it's here, because it might crack it then. So you make it so it generates press further down inside the guide, basically. That's a little word of advice for anybody who's machining heads, or if you're going to cut it for dual springs, measure the inside diameter of your dual spring, and then that'll tell you how much to cut this for, and then give it like 20 thousandths or something like that if you want a little slop in there. I like it to actually be kind of tight on it, but you would end up with it so much thicker. It'll last so much longer. It makes it so much easier in the future to replace guides. These, they just crack for no reason. There's no spring with that small of an inside diameter. There's no reason to cut it. I don't know why they do it. It does require you to run different shims, but who cares? Okay, so then once that's been tapered, I can then take my driver here and drive in, let's see, here's the new guide. Drive in the new guide, basically. Once that's driven in, I'm going to take the reamer then and ream the inside just to make sure that it's straight so that the valve will slide in and out good. Once that's done, I can then go back and put in my pilot, and there you go, it tightens up. So now I can then get back to doing my valve job. A lot of steps, it's what I got to do in order to replace the guide. All right, let's do it. Let's replace our guide. All right, so let's do a little bit. There you go. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe you can see how it's somewhat tapered. Maybe. There you go. And that's how you basically relieve it. Again, that's using this guy here, which just tapered. Pretty simple. Okay, so the guide I pulled out versus the guide I'm putting in, it's about a 2 thou difference, which is fine. Get my driver. Ooh, somebody's making a pass out there. Using WD because it shouldn't have that much press. Shouldn't be that hard. I don't need like a Loctite or nothing to drive it in. There you go. Didn't crack it. Looking pretty. There you go. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I'll have to go in there now and top this, ream it, all that. Now, one of the questions it would be is, or one of the things you should pay attention to is inside here, you should relieve it if the head wasn't machined. This head had a machine pocket in here. Had a little machined area in there so you wouldn't have to worry about it. If it was a Guide Boss one, you'd want to pay attention, relieve it in there so you don't crack it, something like that. On these, you know, ones where they're thin like this, they are prone to cracking. Unfortunately, they crack quite easy. But that baby's in there. All right, next I'm going to ream it. Unfortunately, I need my vise, which the phone is being held up by right now, so you're not going to see that part. Okay, I just picture the action that's going to turn up on that guy. It says, "Did you know?" Because you're watching Nasty Mind. Never mind. All good. All right, let's go do the valve job.